So today we will start with the our micronutrients. That is uh, the nutrients which basically needed in the small quantity are known as the micronutrient. And the basically the two micronutrients are there, the vitamin and the minerals. So we will discuss about the vitamins. So vitamins are basically nutrients which are very important for our health. They required in basically the small quantity, and our body cannot synthesize them on its own, so they must be provided in our body through the diet. In absence of these, we may get and suffer from any disease, and they may affect our body functioning also. So we will discuss about the vitamins today. So vitamins are basically of the two types. What happened? Okay. Two types, the water soluble and the fat soluble. The water soluble basically are the hydrophilic in nature. Matlab they basically needs, they love the water. They dissolve in body by dissolving in water itself. So they are consist of the vitamin C and vitamin B complex. And fat soluble vitamins are basically, they dissolve in our body with the help of the fat. That's why they are the fat soluble. And the types are the A, D, E, and K. Vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin A. Okay. Okay, so the micronutrients are basically required by the body in the small amounts, in like the milligram or even in the microgram per day, comparatively to the microvitamins which are relatively need in our body in the large amounts. So vitamins and minerals are basically these are, and out of these vitamins are basically these are the organic compounds required in diet in very small amounts. And basically they don't supply calories or energy. Okay, so the purpose is not to provide the energy. They basically help in triggering the chemical reaction in our body that helps in the digestion, absorption, metabolism, and use of other nutrients also. They also act like the coenzymes. They help to the reaction to reaction take place properly. Okay, so next is, yeah, vitamins, fat soluble and the water soluble. So first of all, we will discuss about the vitamin A. Vitamin A is a fat soluble vitamin, and this is known as, vitamin A is basically known as the retinol. The chemical name of vitamin is retinoids. So they are present only in the food of animal origin basically. However, but in the plant origin based, they present in plant in the form of the carotenes, provitamins, carotenes. Okay, so the common name of the vitamin A is basically the retinol. And in plant food they are present as a precursor of retinol, like in the beta carotene. Okay, so eight parts of the beta carotene actually convert into the only the one part of the vitamin A in our body. So what are the sources of the vitamin A? So the food which are basically uh, uh, animal sources are basically of the vitamin A. These are the best sources are basically liver, kidney, egg yolk, milk, cheese, ghee, curd, fish liver oils. These are basically the rich source of the vitamin A. And in animal vegetable sources, it is they contain the provitamin carotenes. So carotene is present in the green leafy vegetables like the radish leaves, bathua, spinach, methi, etc. And even in the yellow and the dark leaf greeny vegetables, they are present, and also in some of the fruits. So in the yellow and the red vegetables like the carrots, tomatoes, pumpkin, fruits like the papaya and the mangoes. So these are the sources of the vitamin A. So we will discuss what is the basically function of the vitamin A. So retinol basically they have a very important role in the vision, also in the immunity, in the reproduction, in the cellular communication. So basically the main important role in the vision, they help to see us in a very dim light. So adequate amount of retinol is basically helps in see in the darkness. So if in the deficiency of vitamin D, so we may suffer from the problem of the night blindness in the person unable to see in the dark. They have also the role in the immunity. So also these are known as the anti-infective vitamins. And the skin and the mucosal cells, basically the lining of our digestive or the urinary tract, they actually act as a first line defense mechanism in our body. So they control the infection to enter into our the body. So retinol and its metabolites basically maintain the integrity and the functioning of our cell linings. Then they also help in the growth and the development of the fetus development, so in the embryonic development also. So they are also help in the reproduction part of our body. So this is a maintain normal vision. Again it is right, because retinol basically helps in the maintenance of the retina. That's why the vitamin A name is a retinol. So our retina is made up of the two cells, the rods and the con cells. So both red rods and the con cells basically help in the vision. So rod cells basically to whenever the changes of the light, dim or the dark light, so they are help both rods and the con cells. The rod cells in the dimness and con cells in the bright light. So if we have a rods and con cells are basically made up of a pigment which is a rhodopsin. Rhodopsin is basically made in our body by the combination of a specific form of vitamin A, which is retinol, and protein. That's why in the absence of vitamin A, the functioning of the rods and cons is not properly, especially the rods one. So we are not able to see in the dim light. Okay. So the rhodopsin basically helps us to see in the dim light, and in the deficiency of the disease which may suffer is the night blindness. See in the picture, this is the retina of our eye. This is the lining, and this retina you see here. There are the two cells, the rod cells and the con cells. These are two. These are the light sensitive cells of our retina. Okay, so rhodopsin basically helps to see, and rhodopsin is basically made up of the protein and the vitamin A, which help in the vision. The next section is the cell differentiation and the gene expression. Basically, like the immature bone cells, actually they differ from the mature cells. So this cell differentiation is basically because of the vitamin A. It helps in the proper maturity of the cells also. In the reproduction also, the embryonic development is basically is due to the vitamin A helps in the development of the embryo also. So serum retinol concentration was found in associated with the preterm delivery also. So what happens if the deficiency is there? I told you it's a problem of the night blindness, because in the deficiency of vitamin A, not able to see properly in a dim light. Also, if not treated properly, it may development of the bitot spots on the cornea, and the ulceration of cornea also happens. The also the disease of the keratomalgia and the corneal skull, which is a non-reversible because it damage our cornea of the eye. And it also if deficiency also impact on the skeletal growth, also fetal growth and its development also. And it also causes sterility in the males because of the degeneration of the germinal epithelium in the male body parts. So vitamin A is very important, has a very important role in our body. What happens if the toxicity of the excess of vitamin A happen in our body? So the major symptoms are like the headache, drowsiness, loss of hair, nausea, skin dry, reabsorption of the bone also, which may affect over the skeletal problems. And in infants, it may gives rise to the dermatitis, loss of weight also, anorexia, that is a loss of appetite, irritability, skeletal pain. The dose which is recommended is basically the 8,000 RE in a day, and it should not be in a month. It should be taken. It should not exceed this dose. Yeah, anyone raise the hand? Do you have any question?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in the previous slide, whatever problems are caused due to the vitamin A deficiency, can you explain them? Because all those terms are new to me.
Yeah, okay, okay. So, okay, well, I'm explaining again. So basically, the
In this one, next one, next one,
this
next. You're going behind, ma'am. Next one.
okay,
Next. Yeah, this one.
Yes, your one
so
only.
vitamin
So
A
all these
basically, yeah,
in
yeah,
blue,
okay.
huh?
I'm explaining again. Vitamin A basically has an important role in the process of the vision. As I told you, the retina of the eye possesses two type of the cells, the rods and the cone cells. Rods are basically involved in the dim light vision, where cones are responsible for the bright light and the color vision. So in the absence of the vitamin A, the rod cells does not work properly. So we may suffer from the problem of the night blindness. It will called night blindness, because in the dim light or at the during the night, they are not able to see properly. And retinol is necessary for the normal reproduction also. It acts like a hormone and regulates gene expression. So it also have impact on the fetal growth, on the fetus growth and its development. Okay. And okay, and it has
Ma'am, what is
also
bitot spots,
white dot
corneal?
spots. Okay, okay, okay. These are the basically eye problems. These are basically the eye problems. White dot spots are basically a triangular shape like spots which are seen on the conjunctiva, on our eyes. Basically the white triangular plaque like structures visible on our conjunctiva. So they are actually right now there is no picture. So those are known as the white dot spots, and these are because of the deficiency of vitamin A. So a triangular plaque like structure on the white part of your eye, na, you may able to see a gray patchy like structure, a white like structure basically on your conjunctiva. Okay, you able to see, matlab, those the people have able to distinguish ki they have some triangular like plaques on their conjunctiva. Those are known as the
Okay.
white dot spots. And the keratomalacia is basically the dryness of the conjunctiva, and also the it's a keratinization of the epithelial cells of the cornea in the eye itself. Okay, there's a the eyes become so dry, especially so because of the dryness. There is actually sort of the hardness you can able be, otherwise our eyes will become always, in a wet na. We blink our eyes to give the nutrition, to give the moisture to our. So in that case, they feel they have actually dry type of our uh, in our eyes. So because of that, cornea got the ulcers. So that is a corneal ulceration, and also the scar on the cornea, and the degeneration happens, which results in the destruction of the cornea, and it is non-reversible. So the destruction of the cornea happen, and that result in the blindness, total blindness. Clear?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So other deficiency are the development and the effect on the growth, and the development effect on the reproduction, because sterility in male happens because of the germinal epithelium leads to the sterility in the males, and also on the skin and the epithelial changes also there. So these are the basically because of the deficiency. The disease may happen because of the deficiency of the vitamin A. The RCA, the recommended daily allowance of the by the ICMR is basically 4,800 microgram beta carotene for both adult men and women. In the during pregnancy, so the extra need is there for the proper fetal growth, and it may rise up to the 6,400 microgram. During lactation period, it's the 7,600 microgram, and the children age of the 1 to 6 years and 7 to 9 years are basically to 1 to 6 years they need 3,200 microgram, and 7 to 9 years 4,800 microgram of the beta carotene. This is the recommended diet. Next vitamin is the vitamin D. Vitamin D is basically known as a sunshine vitamin. It is known as the sunshine vitamin, and it is a fat soluble vitamin, and discovered in basically it's naturally present in we get it from the sunlight. So uh, it is synthesized in our skin and when exposed to the sunlight. Discovered by a scientist, Sir Edward Malbany, in 1918, and he actually scientists identified the anti-rachitic properties of vitamin D. Anti-rachitic is a basically for the it helps in our proper bone development. Okay, so the vitamin exists in two forms basically, vitamin D3 and the D2. Vitamin D3 is known as the cholecalciferol, which is found in the animal origin food, and D2 is basically referred as the ergocalciferol from the plant substance. These are the two types, two forms. So, at least 15 minutes a day for at least 3 times a week is actually recommended to have a sufficient amount of vitamin D in your body. Okay. So there are huh, the precursor of vitamin D basically. So we get vitamin D mostly from a precursor, that is a 7D hydrocholesterol, which is present under our skin. So actually that is a precursor which makes vitamin D to available in our body. Vitamin D is basically an organic compound, a fat soluble vitamin, and it acting as a precursor steroid to most of the metabolic and the biological process. So when UV rays from the sunlight strike our skin, so this vitamin D synthesizes in our body, and these precursors 7D hydrocholesterol helps to vitamin D to available in our body, and in plant sources there is a very small amount of the vitamin D. Yes, Sumaji.
Actually, precursor So, what is the meaning of precursor?
Actually, that is not actually in a fully form. It they are present in the body,
Okay.
so they have to change. Actually, they have to change, or they need some something like the cofactor also to make available in the body. Okay, so they need some like a key sort of thing to open that lock, so they need some precursors to change their
Okay.
form, and then they will be available to, or maybe readily soluble in our body. Then we can only synthesize in our body. Otherwise, they, in absence of these precursors, they are not actually available in our body.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, they have to change in their form. So the sources are the basically the sunlight, and the most food have negligible amount of the vitamin D. Marine fishes are basically the good sources, and these basically the fish and egg yolk are also, but they are the poor sources. Egg yolk and the buttermilk also, but they are also have a small amount of the vitamin D. So fish cod liver oil is basically the richest sources, having the highest concentration. It's like on the 10 it's 1 2 3 4 for 1 lakh international units of 100 gram. So exposure of the skin to the sunlight and consumption of the natural foods and all these the precursor of the vitamin D also you need for the should be readily available vitamin D in your body. So the precursor and these are the fortification of the foods also. They need to be have in your diet to be a good amount of vitamin D. So what is the function basically? Function, it makes our bones strong and healthy, and also um okay, deficiency. Hmm. And it also helps our some minerals like the calcium and phosphorus, which makes our bones hard and strong. So it helps that minerals to be deposited properly in our body. So vitamin D helps in the mineralization basically, so the deposition of calcium and phosphorus in our bones. So vitamin D actually helps in that also. So how it helps in the mineralization of in two ways: by increasing the absorption of the calcium and phosphorus, and help also in deposition, absorption also and deposition also. So that way it makes our bone strong. So, what will happen in the case of the deficiency? So, the common disease due to the deficiency of vitamin D are the rickets and the osteomalacia. So, rickets is usually seen in children between age to 1 to 3 years. They are actually legs become in a bow shape like structure. So that is actually, and they have basically the rickets basically mean the twist. So their bones become so in a shape uh, because of the lack of the calcium and the phosphorus. The children have that rickets actually the bone deformities due to the incomplete mineralization, and their bones become soft, fragile, and also they have delayed teething also. So the weight bearing bones, especially our legs bones, they bend and form a structure like the bow legs. Okay, so the profound pronounced effect is seen during the pubertal stage also, during the development stage basically. And occurrence of osteomalacia is associated with multiple parity. The rickets and the osteomalacia is in the adulthood stage basically, and later on in the old stage, the osteoporosis. In osteoporosis, the bones become porous. ठीक है, that is a age related problem. Especially osteoporosis happens in the old age, and it may accompanied by the osteomalacia. Okay, so deficiency is very common in Indian subcontinent, because in especially in the female, because they are less exposed to the sunshine, and they are also live in a very congested area with a less in a crowded houses. So the problem happens more in that specific areas. Okay, so in the children rickets, in the mid-age osteomalacia, in the old age osteoporosis like disease happened because of the vitamin D deficiency. What is the toxicity? So intake of 100 microgram of vitamin D causes hypercalcemia in children. Means matlab, the increaseness of the calcium level in the body. So it should be maintained. So among adults, agar higher amount of intake is in the range of the it's if more than the 25,000 to 60,000 international units in a day for approximately 1 to 4 months, so it may cause hypercalcemia. Okay, so the what are the symptoms of the hypercalcemia? They have the loss of appetite, nausea, weight loss, and even failure to thrive. So hypervitaminosis, it also happens when a concentrated form of the vitamin exceeds this value 700 to 1600 nanomolecule in a liter. And overexposure of the sunlight does not cause any of toxicity. All these are the in the medicinal form. These vitamin D may happen to the toxicity, but never a natural form does not make you any toxicity. Okay, so the recommended dose is basically a 15 days a day for at least a 3 times a week is actually sufficient to synthesize the vitamin D in your body. Is it okay? Next is the vitamin E. Vitamin E is basically, it's known as a tocopherol. It's also micronutrient, and it is very essential for the normal. Basically, it's known as a tocopherol. It has a very role in basically the reproduction, normal reproduction in animals. So it is basically known as the anti-sterility vitamin also. And vitamin is present in almost all foodstuffs, and they are basically discovered and characterized by sub nutritional factor essential for normal reproductive processes. And they actually carrying our reproductive basically studies with rats, then if we able to understand they have also a role in the animals. And they vitamin E basically absorbed along with fat, because it's a fat soluble vitamin. They are absorbed in our intestines. And okay, so vitamin A is synthesized only by the plants and has is primarily found only in the plant-based sources. So the fat and oil of the vegetable origin are the richest sources of the vitamin E. So vegetable oils and oils from the nuts and the seeds and the food grains are estimated to contain how much 50 to 100 milligram per 100 gram of the product. So only 8 milligram is present in coconut oil. Wheat germ oil is the richest one. How much it contain? It containing in a 100 gram 260 milligram of vitamin E is there. And other sources are the vegetable oils, nuts, oil seeds, and the whole gram. And some are present also found in the palm oil, rice bran oil, है ना? In some oats, barley, rice, they are also contain some vitamin E in their oils. So on an average, consuming 20 gram of oil contribute how much of vitamin E? 10 milligram of vitamin E. So 400 gram of food grains, if we are consuming, so it contains how much of fat? 6 to 8 gram of fat. And out of that, 3 to 4 gram of vitamin E we are getting. Okay. So, yeah. tocopherol content in different type of oils. This is the value they are mentioning in that table. Okay, so what is a function? Function is basically it has a antioxidant activity, and it's a naturally occurring antioxidant. Basically, it attaches to the free radicals in our body, so it acts as an antioxidant, and it has a very good role in the our heart disease, in the cancer, antioxidative role because it takes part in the biological processes. Basically, it also maintain the integrity of our cell membrane, um, and a free radical is basically present in our body, so it attached to those free radical, and then it's act as a antioxidant which actually helps in also the immunity of our body. So it is also associated with the reproductive systems and prevents the sterility also, exerts anti-inflammatory effect like this, and some it interaction with some enzymes which are involved in the metabolism process, so it provides a smooth metabolism process in our body. It stimulates immunity response also. It regulates the intercellular signaling also, the information from one cell to other cell. It also support this. It also has a very important role in the immunity. So deficiency and excess is as such not seen, so we can take up to 100 times more than the requirement, the recommended dose we can take. So it does not seem if we are taking more than the recommended diet we are having any disease or toxicity. It's not seen like this. Okay, is it okay? So the next vitamin is vitamin K. Vitamin K is another last, you can say so, after A, D, E, K. So this is the last fat soluble vitamin, and it is basically required for the blood clotting factors in our body. It is essential for the coagulation, so it helps to bring about the clotting of the blood and prevents the loss of blood from our body if we get any injury or the cut from any part of our body. So little amount of vitamin K is basically synthesized in our body by some microorganisms. So where there those microorganism present, those microorganism present in our intestine, and they are also provided by the food sources. The food sources are basically the green leafy vegetables like the spinach, methi, radish leaf. In the deficiency of vitamin K, what will happen? Our blood will not clot the at the spot where we get a cut or injury. So in that deficiency of vitamin K, there is a blood loss from our body. So pregnant mothers and newborn babies are often given a dose of the vitamin K to check bleeding during childbirth and the brain hemorrhages. Okay. So the other name is basically it is also known as the clotting vitamin. So in the last we will revise. So vitamin A is known as a retinol. It is the sources of the vitamin A are the liver, egg yolk, cream, butter, ghee milk. These are basically all the animal sources, and from the plant sources, it actually it present in the form of the beta carotene. So it is present in the all the yellow and the orange vegetables like the carrot, leafy vegetables, and the tomatoes, in the pumpkin, mangoes. These are the plant sources of the vitamin K. What is the functioning? We it has a basically functioning in the vision, so maintenance of the health of the epithelial tissues. So the lining of our eye, our cornea will actually keratinize in absence of vitamin K. It gets a scar, corneal scar, So vision, it helps in the vision in the dim light. So in deficiency of vitamin A, the disease we are getting is the night blindness. So it also helps in the growth of the skeletal and the soft tissues. Next is the vitamin D. Vitamin D is a sunshine vitamin, and it is action of the sunlight on the skin. Animal foods also contain vitamin D, like the egg, butter, fish, liver oil. All these also contain vitamin D, and it helps in the function of the vitamin D. Basically, it helps in the absorption of the calcium and the phosphorus, and also the deposition of the calcium and the phosphorus in the bones and the teeth. Next is the vitamin A, E. Vitamin E is known as the tocopherol, and it basically presents in the oils and the which are we getting from the plant-based oils, vegetables oils, like the whole grains, green leafy vegetables also contain vitamin E, pulses, nuts, oil seeds. So it has a very important role in the reproduction also. So it helps production of the unsaturated fatty acids, vitamin A and C from destruction of the body or the food. Next is the vitamin K. Vitamin K is known as a clotting vitamin. So it helps in the clotting of the blood, and we are getting from the dark leafy vegetables, and also bacterial synthesis. Where these bacteria are present? These bacteria are present in our intestine. So there they synthesize vitamin K. So these are all the fat soluble vitamins. Next is the water soluble vitamins. Should I continue or should I give a break? Okay. So the other now the types of the vitamins are the water soluble vitamins. Those are basically hydrophilic in nature, means they are the lovers. So they get dissolved in water easily, and after that they get dissolved in water, then they easily uh, basically utilized by our body. So the water soluble vitamins are basically the vitamin B complex and vitamin C. Okay, so vitamin B and vitamin C, these vitamins are not stored in our body like the fat soluble. They usually store in our body. So whenever we have some requirement of the vitamins, so fat soluble vitamins, they are readily available. These vitamins does not store in our body, so we need a adequate supply of these vitamins every day. So in case of excess of these vitamins, they excreted through our urine. So these are basically found in many foods, in the vegetables and fruits, and also from some dairy products. Okay. So vitamin B complex is basically a group of the many vitamins. Uh, ah, they have a number of substances basically. So it is a basically a group of vitamins, usually a six members, but like the thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, pyridoxine, folic acid, and also B12 also. So this is a group of the vitamins basically together we known as the vitamin B complex. So first of all, we will discuss about the vitamin B1. B1 is known as the thiamine. So it is a common name of the B1 is a thiamine. It is basically widely distributed in the animal and the plant foods. So almost all the foodstuffs have this except all the foodstuff except fat, oil, and sugar. They contain the small amount of the thiamine. Otherwise, all the cereals and the pulses are the richer sources of the B1, the thiamine. And the animal origin are basically the lean meats, poultry, egg yolk. These are also contain thiamine. Okay. So what is the basically function of the thiamine? Okay. So the basic function of thiamine is it act as a coenzyme, and helps in the metabolism of carbohydrates. So coenzyme is related to release of energy from glucose and its storage as fat. So the carbohydrate metabolism, it helps in that particular metabolism, so that the creation of the energy will be smoothly, and if the extra energy is there, they convert into the fat and store in form of the fat. So thus it makes energy available for normal growth and function on of our body. So the coenzyme form of thymine is basically thymine pyrophosphate, and it is necessary for catalyzing which type of oxidation, the carbohydrates in our body, which helps in release of energy in our body system. So thymine is basically needed for the normal functioning of the system, three main system: the digestive system, the nervous system, and the cardiovascular system. So in the digestive system or in the gastrointestinal system, it helps in produce energy for the smoothness functioning of the cells, the muscles, and the secretory glands. So, if the deficiency of thymine is there, so what will happen? We will lack the in the tonicity of the muscles, in the secretory glands also does not function properly, functioning properly. So what will happen? The secretions of the gastric become deficient, so it will result in the poor appetite, in the digestion, indigestion problems, constipation problems, and also the poor stomach functioning. So it helps in the proper functioning of our digestive system. Next, in the nervous system, so our brain also needs the energy for the proper functioning. So the nervous system needs glucose as energy source for its functioning. What will happen if the lack of thymine or the lack of the vitamin B1 will happen? No energy for there. So if brain central nervous system does not have energy, what will happen? We will not get proper message, we are unable to do work, we don't get proper the response or the alertness. So what will happen? The result is apathy, fatigueness, irritability. And if this deficiency continues for it, so the damage of the nerve cells may happen, and then it may result in the pain or the paralysis. Okay. Then the third system, which is affected by the vitamin B1, is the cardiovascular system. Also, um, the heart muscles are always 24 hours working muscles, so they need energy. In the case of the deficiency of the vitamin B1 or the thymine, the muscles of the heart gets weak and does not work properly. It may affect the circulation of our body, and it may result in the failure of the heart also. Blood vessels, walls may become weak, vessels may become loose or the dilate, and also the swelling or the fluid may accumulate in the lower part of the legs of our in the body. So these are the particular the things which we may due to the deficiency of the vitamin B1. So thus insufficient thiamine supply affects the body systems. These mean three main systems: the digestive, the nervous, and the cardiovascular system, and thus it may affect our functioning of our body. Okay, so what are the sources? The sources are the cereals, pulses, oil seeds, nuts, yeast. All these are the plant sources, and the some animal sources are also there. The animal foods are the pork, liver, kidney, milk, milk and its products. These are the sources of the vitamin B1. So, what will in the deficiency, it may result in the deficiency of the energy. So when thiamine intake is in deficient, digestive system is disturbed, resulting in the loss of appetite, muscles tonicity may be poor, constipation, loss of appetite may be associated with the nausea, vomiting. In the nervous system, it has effect like the depression, moodiness, irritability, forgetfulness, confusion, fear. If this deficiency will become more and more, it may affect a disease which is known as the beriberi. Beriberi is a disease of the nervous system. So beriberi, it's a word meaning means I can't. So the in this disease, the person is always too ill to do anything. In beriberi disease, patient is not able to perform any function, is very weak, unable to do his daily routine works also. So sometimes thiamine deficiency also associated with chronic alcoholism due to the very low food intake and also to the intake of the more alcohol. It may result in adverse effect of a person. Okay, so this is the vitamin B1. We will stop today. We will take other vitamins tomorrow from the vitamin D, B2. So this is for today only. If you have any questions, you may ask now.